Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our second transfer webinar in our National Transfer Student Week series. Today, we'll be shining a spotlight on pathways to social work here at the University of Waterloo. We're thrilled to share our 3 pathways to social work, and we're here to help you find the right pathway for you. As always, we welcome your questions. Our contact information will be posted at the end of the presentation, but you're also welcome to reply to the email you received with a copy of this webinar. So we're going to briefly introduce, or I'm going to briefly introduce you to some of the Waterloo experts who will be facilitating today's webinar. And we'll start today with Cece.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ileana, but everyone calls me Cici. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the International Experience Recruitment and Digital Engagement Officer at Renison.
Hello, everybody. My name is Carrie. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm the Administration and Student Services Manager for the School of Social Work. And I'm really happy to meet you all on the cyber.
Great, thanks so much. My name is Matt Brown, and I'm an undergraduate admissions officer here at Waterloo. I'm one of a team of 4 that handles transfer applications to the Faculty of Arts, which includes both the Social Development Studies 2-step pathway and the conditional BSW program, which we'll speak about later on. I'm also Waterloo's transfer recruiter. So one of the best parts of my job is I get to speak directly with students who are looking to take that next step and work towards a degree. And I also wanted to take an opportunity to acknowledge that much of our work at Waterloo takes place on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. Our main campus is situated on the Haldimand Tract, which is land granted in a legally binding treaty to the 6 nations that includes 6 miles or 10 kilometers on each side of the Grand River. Waterloo's active work towards reconciliation takes place across our campuses through research, learning, teaching, and community building, and is centralized within our Office of Indigenous Relations.
Thank you. To give you guys an overview of what's going to happen over the next hour or so. So over the course of this presentation, we will start by talking about the University of Waterloo School of Social Work, and specifically the Bachelor of Social Work or BSW program. Then we will talk about the Bachelor of Arts, Social Development Studies or SDS, and how it connects to the BSW program. Using student profiles, we will highlight the 3 pathways to our BSW program, including the direct entry BSW, the conditional Bachelor of Social Work, also known as Social Service Worker pathway, and the 2-step pathway. For each of these programs or pathways, we will talk about the admission requirements, how to apply, and important dates that you should be mindful of. And finally, we will end the presentation by talking about student support and how to contact us.
Okay, so everybody, that's me now. And we're going to start with the Bachelor of Social Work or the BSW program. So we'll just run with a quick program overview of the Bachelor of Social Work program. So just to start off, our BSW program, it's a general overview, but I just wanted to highlight a few points. So our BSW program is what is known as a post-degree program, meaning that in order to be admissible to the BSW program, applicants must hold a bachelor's degree, typically and preferably a BA in the social sciences. So when completed full-time, the BSW program is 10 months, 3 terms in duration. You start in the fall, and we only have 1 entry point into the BSW program for the full-time cohort. So September, and it runs until the end of June. Our part-time program, we've made a slight change to this year, and we've also decided to remove our fall, so we only have a winter entry program, and this will happen in January 2024 is when it becomes officiated. And while the full-time takes 10 months to complete, the part-time will take on average for 2 to 3 years, so it's a little bit different. So during the duration of the program, students complete academic courses as well as a practicum or a field placement. This field placement includes a minimum of 720 hours of field-based learning experience at a variety of community agencies. We work hard at making sure that we pick the right fit for our students. There is quite the process, but we really work hard to ensure that your learning experience will one that you will find fulfilling. So essentially your field placement goal is to bring together the classroom learning and the practical experience. So as part of the coursework in the BSW program, students participate in what's known as an integration seminar. There's 3 of them, 1 per term in the full-time program. This will take longer in the part-time program, of course, but essentially these seminar courses are designed to help students integrate field practicum experience with their academic course content. So really useful and something our students really enjoy. Finally, it's important to note that the full-time program is offered entirely on campus, as there are a number of interactive group work components. The part-time program, as I've mentioned earlier, will only be offered in the winter term. And just like we're moving into 1 entry point, we're also changing the format of learning. So it's going to be officially known as blended learning come winter term 2024. And essentially the blended learning is a combination of online and in class or on campus portions. But it is important to note that the majority of the course will actually be offered online with 1 to 3 days of an in-class portion per course per term. So the part-time and the full-time BSW program structure are a bit different. So I'll start with the full-time BSW program structure. So essentially, your practicum or the field-based learning will be taking place full days, business hours, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Thursdays and Fridays are reserved for the in-class component, but students can expect to be in class for full days as well. It is pretty intensive, and in the afternoons, your IS course actually will be offered a little bit differently. So that will be offered every other week, but students can be expected to be on campus learning between field and in-class portions for 5 days per week. The part-time program is a little bit more flexible. The field practicum is a bit different in the part-time program. So essentially you are doing 2 days of field work in the part-time program. The biggest difference is that students are only eligible to begin their field-based practicum after completing 1 400 level course or their first academic term. So moving forward, students who are coming into the part-time program will start in the winter, and then they will be eligible to begin their practicum in the spring term. So part-time students can complete their BSW program in 2 years and up to 3 years. Typically, courses in the part-time program, there are 2 courses that are offered per term in the part-time program. And I alluded to earlier as blended learning, all classes come winter 2024 will be offered blending learning format where the majority of the course is online with a few in-class on-campus dates each term. So here's a look at the degree requirements in the Bachelor of Social Work program. Pretty straightforward. You'll find this on the University of Waterloo calendar as well, kind of some better descriptors. But on a general note, all the courses in the BSW program are required to meet accreditation standards from CASWE, the Canadian Association of Social Work Education. So the BSW program is very legit. One change to note, and we've added it, and we're planning to add it for the spring term this year, is our 3rd elective. That's known as the 2-row on the Grand River, which is a land-based learning class that will host about 10 students from either the full-time or the part-time program. And essentially, the course will explore Indigenous and decolonizing theoretical knowledge, skills, and practices that are guided by the Haudenosaunee Great Law of Peace. More information will be provided once this course comes into fruition in the spring term. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to offer this coming year. And I think that's about it for me. So I will pass the torch on to Cece. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Gary. Oh, I can hear my voice. As we previously mentioned, our Bachelor of Social Work program is actually a post-degree program. So this means that it requires a previous bachelor's degree, a Bachelor of Arts to be exact, and the completion of 7 BSW prerequisite courses. So for those of you who do not hold a bachelor's degree, you will first need to complete this step. And this is regardless of the pathway that is best for you. So at Renison, we offer a Bachelor of Arts where students major in Social Development Studies or SDS. And this allows you to get your Bachelor of Arts degree and all 7 BSW prerequisites completed in order to be ready for the BSW program. These prerequisite courses can be found on the School of Social Work website, but first we're going to talk a little bit more about what SDS is. So SDS is a major within the Faculty of Arts here at the University of Waterloo. So students who complete SDS graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Waterloo. This program allows students to learn about how physical and mental health, socioeconomic realities, education, and emotional support affect the well-being of individuals and communities. It has a multidisciplinary approach, which offers students the flexibility to explore a variety of courses in the social sciences, including psychology, sociology, social development, and of course, social work. Students are also encouraged to engage in a variety of experiential learning opportunities, and this will allow them to enhance their overall experience in learning inside and also outside of the classroom. So some examples are, for example, co-op, applied apprenticeship, and research apprenticeships. And the best part about SDS is that it can be completed on campus or it can be completed online and also can be taken as a part-time or full-time studies. So there's a lot of flexibility in that part too.
Now that both Carrie and Cece have given us an overview of both the BSW and SDS programs, I'm going to quickly overview the pathway options that will lead you to social work. So the 3 pathways include, the conditional Bachelor of Social Work program for social service worker students. It's highlighted in blue on the screen. This is a full-time only program and is meant to be completed primarily on campus. Again, BSW is offered on campus only for the full-time program. Students admitted to conditional BSW complete the same courses as students in the 2-step pathway. So it's meant for students who do not have a degree already. A spot will be held in the BSW program, and you will seamlessly transition into BSW after you complete your SDS degree, fulfilling the specific conditions on your offer. The second pathway is what we call or affectionately refer to as the 2-step pathway, and it's highlighted in orange on the screen. And this is for students, again, who do not have a degree. Both SSW graduates and students who've graduated from other college diploma programs can apply for this pathway. Social service worker grads who are looking to complete their SDS degree fully online or on a part-time basis will want to take this pathway option. Students apply for admission to SDS, which again can be completed online, on campus, or a combination of both, as well as the flexibility to do it full-time or part-time. And then during your final year, you would then apply for admission to the 10-month BSW program. As a reminder, the BSW program is a full-time on-campus program. The third and final pathway is the direct entry Bachelor of Social Work route, and that's highlighted in green on the screen. And the key thing to remember here is that this pathway is for students who have completed a Bachelor of Arts or similar, regardless of if you've completed a social service worker diploma or not. Again, we're looking for you to have an overall average of at least 70% from your degree, and we require 7 BSW prerequisite courses, but you can take them as a post-degree student here at Waterloo if need be. So again, how do you know which path is right for you? We have a little bit more detail on this slide here. The path you choose will depend on your educational experience and how you want to study. So again, students who have that BA or similar, the direct entry path highlighted in green may be the best route for you. So students who have not completed any academic college who have not completed any university degree, but have a college diploma may want to look at that two-step pathway, regardless of if it's a social service worker program or a program unrelated to social service worker. And this is also a good pathway for folks, again, who want to study part-time or online. And then finally, the blue option is the conditional Bachelor of Social Work program. And this is for social service worker graduates. And again, it holds a spot in the Bachelor of Social Work program for once you complete your SDS degree. So now I'm going to pass it over to Carrie, and we're going to talk you through a few student profiles so you can get a little bit of a better understanding of each of the pathways. And Carrie, I believe you're muted.
I'm glad for that, Matt, because I almost jumped in and interrupted you. So that worked out very, very well. Thank you for passing that along. So essentially our pathway to social work, so essentially every applicant's background is a little bit different. Each student profile will give a bit of a description about the student and their background. And we're going to take some time to outline which pathway or application they will use to apply for social work and why. And finally, we'll share a more detailed document about each pathway via the chat. And once you know your path, the information we share will give you helpful reminders about the BSW. So let's dive right into it and get started with our first student profile, whose name is Susan, who will be considered a direct entry BSW applicant. So let's go off with, here's students' direct entry profile. So first we look at the direct entry path, students who hold a completed undergraduate degree, as we've mentioned previously, such as the Bachelor of Arts, and have had the opportunity to work or volunteer in the field of social work and social services, may wish to apply directly to the BSW program. This would be our ideal candidate. A BA in Psych is very fitting. So as you can see, Susan completed a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from Brock University. So when taking into account her entire trajectory or her entire studies, she was able to graduate with a cumulative average of 76. So she meets that academic requirement. During the last 2 years of her undergrad, she was able to start volunteering for a mental health helpline, supporting individuals experiencing a crisis related to their mental health. She has also been able to work at a social service agency, supporting new Canadians as they adopt to living in Canada. So as you can see from this profile, not only does Susan meet the academic admission requirements for direct entry into the BSW program, she also has a lot of really valuable practical experience to strengthen her application. So when we think about Susan applying to the direct entry, we can break down a little bit about why this would be the best route for her. So we know that she has a BA degree in Psych. So she does have the admission requirements for the direct entry program. Just to let you know, there's another layer here. Students coming in outside of SDS might need to complete some of those 7 prerequisite courses. We'll get into that a little bit later in the presentation. But comparatively speaking, when you see that she has her BA and she has the volunteer experience, she would be the best candidate for the direct entry program. Just a little bit of an overview of the admission requirements, and we know that Susan meets these requirements. So if Susan was interested in applying to the direct BSW program, she would contact me or our BSW admissions coordinator. Her name is Samantha Kopecki. Her first step would actually be to have a BSW assessment done, and this would be completed in order to determine how many prerequisites Susan already may have and how many she might still need to complete. We would also ascertain whether she wanted to do the full-time or the part-time program, but that would be her first step. And then she would look onto the criteria or the dates and basically apply through. All applications are actually done online. Everything's open as we speak right now through an UAC application, and we can provide you with more information later on, or you can find out this information on the web pages. So for direct entry to the BSW, we have a few dates to be mindful of depending on the entry point you are applying for. The dates do differ from full-time and part-time. So the application period for the full-time program is currently open and typically closes mid to late December, is how we've been operating for the last couple of years. The part-time program actually opens up in May, and the UAC application closes out in July, as you can see listed here. The document deadline will be in August. It'll be August 6th this year. So this is the way that things are changing. The document deadline is a little bit different from the UAC application deadline. And essentially the document deadline is collecting all your application materials and making sure that those are all set and ready to go by the specific dates listed in this table here. All of this information, by the way, is really clearly laid out on the School of Social Work web pages. So please go in, check it out. All the information is there. Anything that you will need moving forward, please contact me or Samantha directly. And you will, as Matt mentioned and alluded to earlier, you will have access to that information at the end of this presentation. So that's it for me. I'm going to pass again the torch on to Matt. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Carrie. So the next pathway case study we'll look at is for our two-step pathway to the BSW program. So everyone meet Laura. Laura graduated from a child and youth worker diploma from a recognized college in Ontario, and they achieved an overall average of 77%. They have not yet completed a degree. They currently work full-time as a child and youth worker at a local school. And aren't quite sure whether or not they want to do full-time or part-time studies yet, and want the flexibility to be able to change that as they progress through their degree. So just to reiterate, the two-step pathway is meant for students who have a college diploma in any academic field, but do not yet have a BA or similar. It's also a pathway choice for social service worker graduates who are looking to complete their degree on a part-time basis. So why is Laura considering the two-step pathway? Well, she has a college diploma, but she doesn't have a degree. And her college average meets the minimums. She's completed an acceptable English mark. She has or will gain experience to support her application in BSW in her final year. So she'll get that work experience in a community or social service setting. And again, is also considering being able to study on a part-time basis. So to be considered for admission, we're looking for the completion of a college diploma with an average of at least 75%. We're also looking for the grade 12 university level English with a minimum grade of 70%. We will consider college courses, so first year communication courses that have an essay writing component. We may consider those with a minimum final grade of B- or 70% as an equivalent. For university transfer students, again, we're still looking for that same grade 12 university level English with a 70 or an equivalent from university, but we're looking at a 65% university average for a transfer. So if you're like Laura and your pathway is the two-step pathway, your next steps include, you can review the pathway details, which again, we'll share with you in the chat a little bit later. And the next step would be to apply for the 3-year General Social Development Studies program. This is where you'll be able to complete the required BA degree and prerequisite courses in the shortest amount of time. You'll want to make sure that you submit your required documents. That includes your transcripts from high school and from college or university. So if you've attended more than one institution, make sure you provide us with every transcript. And then we'll also need a copy of your resume. One of the major benefits that we've mentioned a little bit is the flexibility of the two-step pathway. The SDS program is likely our most flexible program at the University of Waterloo. And as Cece mentioned, you can complete it full-time or part-time through on-campus courses, online courses, or any combination of the above. The other benefit is that we have multiple entry points. So we offer a 3-year and 4-year SDS program. Essentially, the 3-year degree is comprised of 30 courses, and the 4-year degree is comprised of 40 courses. The 4-year degree typically has more required courses in social development studies, as well as some of our foundations like psychology and sociology. And usually includes more upper year seminar courses or maybe a research or thesis component. Both the 3-year and 4-year degrees will qualify you for the BSW program, provided you also complete the required prerequisite courses. So again, like I mentioned, we're super flexible with the SDS program. We're also super flexible in terms of when you start SDS through the two-step pathway. The SDS program admits students to fall, winter, and spring terms, so tons of flexibility when you start. Applications for the two-step pathway are found using the link provided on the screen. You don't actually access this application directly through UAC. You can even send us an email. My email's on the screen here, and I'm happy to provide you with a link to the actual application. You access it directly through our own website. And our final case study that I'm going to speak about this evening is our conditional Bachelor of Social Work case study. And I would like you to meet Dave. So Dave recently completed his social service worker diploma from an Ontario college. He was able to graduate with a cumulative overall average of 81%. As social service worker is the only post-secondary education that Dave has pursued as of now. He doesn't have a degree, which is also important. He is looking to study full-time in the field of social work. During his social service worker diploma, Dave did complete a few community placements, so he does have that experience in a community or social service worker setting. He was also involved in his school community as both a peer leader and as a social service worker student rep. And finally, he volunteers at the local food bank. David's eager to get into the workforce after completing his education and again wants to study full-time. So why is conditional BSW right for Dave? Well, Dave completed the social service worker diploma, which is a requirement. And again, he doesn't have a degree yet. His college average meets the minimum requirement of 75%, and he also has excellent volunteer and work experience. I should also note that he has completed the required English course, which is also needed for the conditional pathway. And finally, Dave wants to complete his program full-time and on campus to get it done as quickly as possible. So to be considered for admission to the conditional Bachelor of Social Work program, we're looking for completing your social service worker diploma with a minimum average of at least 75%. And again, completion of that required English course is also necessary. We're also looking for demonstration of related work and or volunteer experience in social service worker or community settings. And then there's a suitability for the social work profession process that you'll go through, and we want you to demonstrate your knowledge and understanding of social work values through a personal statement and by submitting references. We'll ask for both academic and professional references as part of the application. So if you're like Dave and your pathway is the conditional BSW stream, Your next steps include to review the pathway details, again, that we'll share with you in the chat, and then to apply to the social development studies, social work, social service worker pathway. It's a mouthful. You can access this application either directly through our website, or if you happen to stumble upon it on the UWAC website, there's a link that will take you to the appropriate landing page directly from the Waterloo landing page. Once you've applied, you'll need to make sure that you submit your required documents. So that includes your high school and post-secondary transcripts, your social work AIF, your referee information. We'll look for your resume and your personal statement, etc. And some important dates to remember for the conditional Bachelor of Social Work program. So the application deadline is February 1st. So you do need to ensure that if you're interested in joining us for next September, that you do apply by that February 1st deadline. All of your documents, including completing your social work AIF and submitting your referee contact information, is due by February 16th. I should note that your referees will be given a separate deadline to complete your references by. Usually it's 2 weeks after we receive your initial submission. So if you submit your results on the 16th, that's totally fine. They still get that additional 2-week time frame to submit and complete the reference form for your evaluation. And again, we've included a link to the application on the slide, but you can always feel free to send us an email and we're happy to get in touch and provide you with the appropriate links to the application. So just a few more things before we wrap up this webinar. Thanks for sticking with us so far. When it comes to transfer credits, they are applied towards your social development studies degree only. So for students who are in the conditional pathway, that blue program, or in the two-step pathway, which was the orange program, we're going to review your prior learning for transfer credits. You can fulfill up to 50% of your SDS degree through receiving transfer credits. This means you can receive up to 7.5 units or 15 courses towards that 30 course or 3-year degree. So half of your degree can be fulfilled through transfer credits. The transfer credits you receive will depend on a few factors: the grade that you achieved, the course content, how old the course is, and then how applicable that transfer credit is towards your Waterloo degree. Please note that regardless of the number of transfer credits you receive, you must fulfill the requirements for SDS to earn that SDS degree. If you're from one of the following colleges, graduates of a social service worker program from one of the following colleges, including Conestoga, Fanshawe, George Brown, Georgian, Humber, Mohawk, Niagara, Sheridan, or Seneca, we have actually posted transfer credit eligibility directly on our website. So you can take a look to see what kind of transfer credits you could be eligible for upon admission to Waterloo. For all other social service worker graduates and for students who've graduated from other college programs from an Ontario college or an Ontario university for degree programs, you can actually use the ontransfer.ca course-to-course guide to get a better understanding of the transfer credits that you may be eligible for, again, should you be successful with an application to Waterloo. When you do navigate to the OnTransfer website, you can enter in all of your college and university courses, and then the system will generate what kind of transfer credits you could be eligible for. Your official transfer credit assessment will be sent to you after you've been admitted to SDS, either through the conditional BSW pathway or through the two-step pathway. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Cece, who's going to talk to us about student supports.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, before we let you go, I wanted to take a final moment to speak about the amazing student supports available here at Renison. So any student at Renison receive individualized support through our very own registrar's office and academic advisors. And additionally, there is a lot of opportunities for peer-to-peer support as well, whether you're looking for one-on-one check-ins or support as a group. And a lot of these are targeted to both transferring mature students as well. Another benefit is also experiences small class sizes while you're studying here at Renison, which will allow you to build stronger relationships with your classmates, also instructors. And because of the small class sizes, there are also endless opportunities to learn from your peers via group discussions and group work. At Renison, we're really proud to say that we have over 150 involvement opportunities, whether you are looking to work part-time during your studies or join a student council or a committee or volunteer for one or more of our student support programs. My favorite part at Renison personally is how we have such a tight-knit community. I still remember the first day I was here and I felt home. So whether you're looking to network and meet new friends, gain paid or volunteer experience, or find an event to attend, you will have endless opportunities at Renison for sure.
Thanks so much, Cece. And that concludes our formal presentation for this webinar. Thanks for tuning in. Our contact information is on screen. Please feel free to connect with any questions that you have. We're here to support you through this process. So on behalf of Cece and Carrie, I would like to thank you for watching our webinar as we shone a spotlight on pathways to social work at Waterloo. Our final session for Transfer Student Week will take place on Thursday, where we'll learn the 5 steps to transfer with tips for applying. Take care, and we hope you have a great night.